Well, we're joined now by Dr. Tina Pearce, who wants to conduct research into those long COVID symptoms and hopefully bring people some answers. Dr. Pearce, you think this may be connected to histamine intolerance. Can you just explain what that is?
Yes, well, we see a lot of patients in my clinic. We diagnose them with histamine intolerance and mast cell activation syndrome. And our body makes histamine and stores it in various cells, predominantly in our mast cells. And when we have an infection, the mast cells release over 1,000 different chemicals, including histamine. And we also have to keep it in balance in our bodies. So we have enzymes that metabolize the histamine away. About 2 to 3% of the population don't make those enzymes very efficiently, and so they get an imbalance with excessive histamine, which causes toxicity in the body and lots of inflammation and many symptoms. But on top of that, we have it's estimated 17% of the population have abnormal mast cells, which are hyperactive and overreact. So, for example, if you have an infection, they react too severely and create a massive storm of chemicals, which then cause inflammation and make people very sick.
So people who are seemingly healthy, could they actually have this and not know about it, which is why we see people who appear to be healthy reacting so badly to COVID?
Absolutely. And often when you take a really clear history from these patients, they've got something in their history that suggests they have actually got mast cell activation and maybe histamine intolerance. And it could be something like IBS or a reaction to various drugs. They could sometimes get hives and itchy rashes, which are not explained. It's a very commonly seen condition, but it's very rarely diagnosed, unfortunately.
So obviously you want to do this research, but is your kind of working theory that someone like this might get COVID, the COVID goes away, but they are left with those extremely high histamine levels, and that's what might cause these symptoms?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we really do want to drill down and try and find out if that's the case. So yes, we've got an app that we would love people to download. It's called People With, and that's written in one word, as one word. And on that, they could record all their symptoms and their past medical history. And that would be a very efficient way for us to quickly look and see if, in fact, their symptoms fit the criteria for a diagnosis of histamine intolerance and mast cell activation.
This is the first research into long COVID that certainly I have come across doing this job. Research, of course, isn't over in a flash. How long do you think it might be before you can establish or de-establish some kind of connection?
Well, the app is incredible, and we have about 60,000 people estimated in the country with long COVID. So the more of them that download it and put in their data, the better. So it shouldn't take us that long, actually, to analyse it and see whether this hypothesis actually could be true. There are many experts in mast cell activation across the world, and they have actually put this hypothesis together that that mast cells and mast cell activation syndrome are actually the key player in severe COVID, that's the acute illness, and in chronic long COVID.
Apologies for interrupting. I'm afraid time is against us. We wish you the very best with your research. We'll catch up again. Dr. Tina Pearce, thank you.